You know, the world right now kind of bums me out. I look at the geopolitics and I become so frustrated and at times just really scared. So I just wanted to take my mind off of things, and I've been fiddling around with my comic book collection and I came across this. The very first Spider-Man comic I ever bought, issue number 368 of the Amazing Spider-Man. This comic kind of changed my life. Growing up watching the old cartoon series, you know, the one with the iconic theme song, swinging around a huge city just seemed like a really fun thing to do. Now, it seems terrifying for two reasons. One, my inability to do cool things, and also my lack of upper body strength. If you're unfamiliar with Spider-Man, this issue is the start to a pretty confusing arc. The origins of Spider-Man have always been the same. His parents died when he was young, he went to live with his Uncle Ben and Aunt May. I should also just point out this is actually Peter Parker that had this happen to him, not a person named Spider-Man. That would be even extra weird. So Peter's living with his aunt and uncle, gets bit by a radioactive spider like you do, and then fails to stop a thief who then goes on to kill his Uncle Ben. With great power comes great responsibility and kissing upside down in the rain or something. So in this comic, Spider-Man begins battling the Sinister Six, but then a shocking revelation happens at the end when his parents return alive. This whole arc goes over dozens of issues, but it's eventually found out that Peter's parents are actually clones, and that Peter also might be a clone, and this is all explained through some scientific mumbo-jumbo by the Jackal, and masterminded because of Spidey's arch-nemesis, the Green Goblin. It all sounds so stupid when you say it out loud, doesn't it? But even though we spent over a minute talking about plot, I'd like to talk about feelings, because as it turns out, it was love all along. It wasn't. In the realm of superhero fiction, there have definitely been cooler heroes. There have been heroes that have better powers, and there have been heroes that lend themselves to more intricate and literary focuses. But Spider-Man has always been my favorite. Now, there were obvious similarities. I was geeky and unpopular in high school. I had a great selection of sweater vests. But what truly made me love Peter Parker was his drive to help absolutely everyone, even his biggest critics, whether it was J. Jonah Jameson or some heckler on the street, that never deterred him from doing the right thing. As a small town boy living in a lonely world, that was an incredibly powerful message. I believed that I could change things, and I didn't stop believing. Okay, I'll stop. Now, as a child of the 80s, there were endless merchandise options for Spider-Man. Video games, toys, TV series, and Marvel kinda needed to because they almost went bankrupt in the 90s. So because of that, they sold the film rights to a bunch of their characters to different film studios. Sony was the one who picked up the Spider-Man rights, and in the early 2000s, I was beyond giddy to learn that there was going to be a Spider-Man film. And then I saw the movie. It's a fine movie. It just doesn't have that extra little thing that makes a film go from here to here. And I am a little bit biased against Tobey Maguire. I mean, come on, the Pleasantville guy? To be fair, Tobey was a good Peter Parker. He just wasn't a good Spider-Man, if that makes any sense. Sam Raimi, the director, really tried to bring the fun to superhero action films, and he mostly succeeded in Spider-Man 2 and didn't at all with Spider-Man 3. But then they decided to do what Hollywood always does, reboot. No, not that. We got to see the origin story again for some reason, but this time with my boyfriend, Andrew Garfield. He doesn't know that yet, so don't spoil the surprise. Here we had the opposite problem of Tobey. Andrew was a great Spider-Man, but not a great Peter Parker. They even did one of my all-time favorite storylines from the comic books, which was, spoiler alert, the death of Gwen Stacy. And they did a pretty good job of it. But again, these movies were fine, but they never escalated into that great territory. I was losing hope. Why couldn't they get my character right? And yes, I said my character. I had that much invested. Marvel did some wacky deal behind the scenes and got rights to Spider-Man back. And in Captain America Civil War, as bloated as that film is, we got a glimpse of the new Spider-Man. And I teared up a bit. They got the Spider-Man, they got the Peter Parker, they nailed that character. But can they sustain that for an entire film? In a few days, Spider-Man Homecoming will be released, and as awkward of a title as that is, I'm really hoping it is a homecoming for that character. With Marvel behind the reins again, I'm hoping that they put as much care and attention to Spider-Man as they've done to the rest of their heroes. Peter Parker and Spider-Man are two sides of the same coin. Peter is the shy, awkward outer shell, and Spider-Man is what truly lies underneath. He is a wisecracking id of a character who will kick your butt and make fun of you while he's doing it. These are two extremes of the same person. I understood that way too much as a kid. I wanted to release my inner sarcastic, but I couldn't because of my gawkish outward appearance. Spider-Man the comic book allowed me to live out my fantasies of saving the world, even though it was harsh and terrible at times. I owe a big debt to Stan Lee, one of the creators of Spider-Man. These super characters are like our folk heroes, the Tom Bunyans or the Johnny Appleseeds of the new millennium. Sure, a lot of it is fluff, but that doesn't mean it doesn't mean anything. In fact, hidden in this weird gloss of glue and paper, behind these fantastical stories of men in tights, mutants, and supernatural beings, I found myself. My outward Peter Parker gave way to my inner Spider-Man. Marvel, please let this be a homecoming for this character. I kinda need it right now. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Kyle. I do upload videos every Monday and Thursday. Let me know about your thoughts on Spider-Man or any other type of superhero down in the comments below. Unless you have somehow been bitten by a radioactive sloth. That's a great challenge. If you want to write the theme song to Slothman down in the comments below, be my guest. It actually has to be to the tune of Be My Guest.